Hello everybody, it's vanburman here and welcome back to Football Manager 2017 with my Arsenal career mode. I believe we're on part 8, although it might be wrong, who knows. So we're starting off with the match against Watford in the EFL Cup. Now, the great thing about this is I can pick all the youngsters and everything, and actually these are the sort of matches I prefer, well, not say prefer, but I actually quite enjoy, because it gives me a chance to go in, pick out a few players from the under-23s or from the under-18s, stick them in the first team, see how they do. And the great thing about the EFL is there's no real pressure on them to perform. We just get to test their ability. So in this, I managed to play Osei Tutu, if that's his name. I might be pronouncing it absolutely horrendously. Rob Holding, obviously Ryan Segerson, or whatever his name is playing. Benesa as well. Who else I put in there? What's his name? That's it. Reece Nelson. Malin played up front. Ismail's in there, and I think Lucas Perez played behind as well. So there was a good few changes. Unfortunately, I didn't have another centre-back to put in there, so Koscielny had to play. But other than that, it was almost a fully changed team from what I would normally play. A very young team, in fact, actually, apart from Koscielny and Ospina, I think. Oh, Koscielny, Ospina and Lucas. But after that, I think they're all under 20. Yeah, probably. But yeah, most of the guys that I would have wanted to play are out on loan, so I had to make do with the players that are still here. Not that that's a bad thing. And even though I'm about to show you the highlights, they actually played quite well. So it's interesting to see. The good thing about it is that, like I say, it gives them a chance to go out me to judge who can be used and sort of what sort of level they're at, especially as we're playing a team like Watford at Vicarage Road, so we're away from home. These are going to be a sort of lower mid-table team, and a number of players did impress me. So there you go. That's a bonus. That maybe sort of tells you all you need to know. Nah, not really. Okay, I can't actually remember what happens. So at least initially, I believe I just showed the goal. Oh no, I did. I've shown the key moments. So Rob Holding misses that, and I think we go 1-0 down here. Yeah, I don't know what Ospina's doing there. You really should be saving that. I've got to say, that's one thing I remember now. Ospina did not have a good game. He was a little bit poor. Having said that, so was Rob Holding with this, as you're about to see. It's really, calamitous. I mean, Ospina was far too far back anyway, and then Holding with a horrendous back pass, but such is life, I suppose. Segerson played some really good crosses in, and he was my Paslak was my man of the match, as far as I'm concerned. He played really well when he came on. He always looked a threat. In fact, we looked a threat for most of it. I mean, that's an amazing goal by Ambrat. You don't really stop those, to be fair. And at that point, we were 3-1 down and not looking like we're going to do much. Iwobi came on and scored. Paslak came on as well. It was a good header. We did lose, but I was happy with the performance by most of the players, and I don't feel like we lost anything. The only issue is that I would have liked to have more games in the EFL so that those players managed to get more game time. But Paslak played really well. He's developing slightly, and he's got, you can see by his potential, he is going to be a really good player. Where I can find space for him or not, well, that's to be decided, but obviously if he's good enough, he will make his own space, so I'm not particularly worried about that. We then go into the next fixture, which is against Southampton at home, and we pretty much went back to a normal team. I decided not to risk Icardi, mainly because he's not too far from being fully fit, so I'd rather than him not have any issues there. I also forgot to make these guys available for the under-23s, but Nelson I'm keeping in the first team for now. I'm keeping the first team. Obviously, I don't really presume he'll play many games, but he'll get a chance coming in off the bench occasionally. And I think I did bring him on in this game. Very, very late on though, so he didn't really get much of a chance to feature. But I'm not really sure how I feel about the game keeps putting Santi Cazorla on. I mean, I think it shows a bit of a lack of respect if we don't put an actual defensive player on there to do the job. But hey, What do I know? I'm just the manager. I did decide to stick with Alexis, even though he's obviously started a mini rebellion. Hasn't really seemed to make too much difference. I mean, I know the morales are fairly middling, with his being quite low. In actual fact, he's played really poorly so far, Alexis has. So he is someone who I'm looking to just sort of limit his game time, because he's not playing very well. He's not really in a good place, which is a bit of a shame, because I don't really understand what his issue is. But in this game as well, decided to play Walcott at the right wing position just to see how he did. As I say, no one played particularly badly. It was quite an even match, even to the point where I don't know, like the overall rating was a 6.9 from most of the guys. That's a very, lovely goal. A great through ball by Santi Cazorla. He's not been doing that anywhere near enough recently. And then, Southampton did exactly the same thing to us. We do have those little lapses where we let teams make chances out of nothing. And Giroud scored a second one, so he's now given me a massive headache when it comes to who I'm going to start up front, because obviously in my head, my front runner is Icardi. And the only reason that Giroud's in the team at the minute is because Icardi's obviously got an injury. Alexis was through there and actually probably should have scored. I think maybe if he was in a bit of a better place, that's the sort of thing he does finish. I know he got an assist for Giroud's goal, but yeah, his general play has not been brilliant. And defensively here, we were not great at times, but we did limit the amount of chances that they had overall. So just things like that, just letting the ball go through. But, and turned out to be a nothing shot in the end by Shane Long. Shane Long has played really well. He's seemed quite difficult for my defenders to mark. There's Nelson coming in. He did put a beautiful ball in, and somehow Santi Cazorla got a header on it. But there you go. That's the end of the highlights. It was fairly even. I do think we deserved to win it, just about in the end. Our finishing was a cut above Southampton's overall, and Giroud played really well. So, yeah, he's given me a bit of an issue. I should mention as well, on a bit of a side note, Lucas came to me, I think it was after the League Cup match, saying he wanted more game time. So I've told him that I'm going to send him out on loan, so we'll see what happens. Probably in January he might end up going out on loan, because I can't fit him in the squad all that much, even though he did play quite well against Watford. As you well know, he struggles to even get on the bench, which is not great. I mean, I think I should probably put a higher threshold on, Santi. When Santi's not playing very well, put Lucas out. And then I start him in this game, obviously. But my thought process behind playing Basel was that I feel like we've got a strong enough team to match Basel anyway, even with making some changes. I just opted not to put Ospina in after his amazing performance in the EFL. And I did field a much weaker team, because in the next episode, we're going to be doing a live video of us playing Chelsea. So I wanted to make sure that most of the key players were fit. Icardi's going to be back fit by then, so he will be starting, I should have thought. So Lucas gets himself on the score sheet really early on, and I think we score here as well to make it 2-0. Yeah, Giroud scores one, assists one. Like I say, he's making it very difficult for me to drop him. And that was it. It was a very comfortable game. It was one of the most relaxed games I've ever had. We scored those 2 goals early on, and Basel really had no answer. You can see they had quite a few shots, but they're all from really far outside the box, and they're all terribly wide. So it was never really much of an issue. I'm surprised Lucas actually got player of the match, even though Giroud... I don't know if that assist would have counted for Giroud, actually, because he came off another player first. But Giroud and Lucas played really well. And as you can see here, we are challenging at the top, just behind Tottenham. Not scored as many goals as they have. Tottenham always seems to be a thorn in my side whenever I play an Arsenal game. But there you go. And we're also joint with Paris Saint-Germain, so everything's really tightly poised. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.